The United States has around 750 to 800 military bases overseas in Europe, in Far East Asia, in Middle East. And its defense budget is magnanimous and is larger than the next 10 countries combined, which is a huge thing. And US dollar still dominates global reserves. All the trade is happening, still happening in the US dollar. And American tech companies like Meta and other companies shape the digital world. And yet, something feels very different. And we haven't seen it before. Wars are not ending. Take it as a Ukraine war. Allies are hedging. Rivals are testing limits. If America is still the strongest power on earth, why does it feel like it's losing control? Something is slipping away from the hands of American hegemony. So, we'll talk about this. Hello and welcome to InFocus. My name is Dr. Adeel. I'm a media and communication scholar with over 20 years in newsroom and academia. I study how power operates beyond headlines. And on this channel, I will examine global politics as it is, not as it's marketed or you see on television. If you value serious analysis without noise, subscribe the channel and hit the like button to all the videos. Okay, before we talk about losing control, we need clarity on one point. What is control? Control does not mean dominating every event. It means shaping the system. And a system was shaped by the United States of America after the World War II. What United States did, they helped design the United Nations, the World Bank, and the IMF. And with that, they have made regional alliance in the shape of NATO. They secured sea lanes and they anchored trade in dollars for decades. Dollar was the main currency. Most countries operate inside a system that is structured and operated and directed by Washington, where power is a capacity, control is influence over outcomes. So the United States remain the most powerful military force in the history of this world, I would say. It never happened in the past. So this part is not in dispute, but strength without decisive outcomes create ambiguity, and there is ambiguity in the US policies now. The war in Ukraine continues from a very long time. Middle East remains highly volatile, and it is still volatile. And the withdrawal from Afghanistan damages the perception of American politics as well and political decision making as well. And rivals are noticing this. For a decade, you see, dollar was the backbone of American control, and around 60% of the global reserves remain in dollar. But now, what is happening in the form of BRICS and other regional alternative, they are emerging. Regional payment systems are expanding. China, Russia, India, Brazil. So everyone is testing new payment system. So this does not mean a collapse for the America, but it means monopoly is weakening. Monopoly of American hegemony or monopoly of USD, US dollar. And when monopoly weakens, leverage becomes negotiation. So let's go a little bit back about the Cold War. The world was unipolar at that time, and United States stood alone at the top, and it remained at the top for a very long time. But what is happening today? China is an economic rival, and India is also strategically moving, and they are strategically assertive. Europe debates autonomy, and regional powers diversify alliances as well. And Europeans are also making new alliances. So, absolute power remains strong, relative dominance is narrowing. So, the deepest shift is psychological. And how it is psychological? Because for the decades, American leadership carried legitimacy in the US. They talked about human rights, free trade, and openness, and that was kind of American dream. But now power remains high. Authority can decline, and when authority declines, compliance becomes negotiation, and influence becomes persuasion, and leadership becomes competition. So the US still accounts for roughly a quarter of global GDP. Its innovation ecosystem dominates advanced technology like Meta and other tech companies. And its alliance network in the shape of NATO and on the other hand, European Union is still unmatched. So we cannot say that this is a collapse. This is not a collapse. Rather, I would use a word, it is a diffusion. And diffusion changes behavior. And that's what we have seen in the case of United States. So we should ask question to ourselves, is United States losing control of the global order, not collapsing, not disappearing? Yes, to some extent. But that era of having global monopoly, I would say, is fading. And the era of managed competition has begun now because China has emerged as a very powerful country in terms of trade and economy. So that is happening. So in near future, I do not see American hegemony is vanishing or collapsing, but it's fading. So in the next episode, we'll talk on even a sharper issue, and that issue is China quietly winning the global competition? This is In Focus with Dr. Adeel. Thank you very much for watching.